out of Popka.
You recording?
And
No.
Okay.
Unreal.
I hate you. Good morning, Lieutenant Dylan Spencer.
Good morning, Instructor Carl.
Today we're going to go over the different TICs we have and some of the uses and some of the ranges and stuff like that. So the three different TICs we have are the X380s. This is the newest TIC we have. We have the Eagle Attack on some of the older engines. And then we also have a Seek little personal TIC that we have on the tower, and Engine 1 Lieutenant has one.
A little housekeeping with the TICs is that we need to protect the lens. Do not point the imager directly at the sun or face up towards the sun when you lay it down, or environments believed to be over 2700 degrees. The limitations with the TIC, it will not provide images through glass, water, or shiny objects, which would be like a cabinet, kitchen appliances, bathroom surfaces. These surfaces will act as a mirror and you're going to see yourself. Thermal imagers will not provide images underwater either. So no ponds, no nothing like that. All right, guys, we're going to go over the differences between the two main TICs we have. The Eagle Attack TIC and the X380. The main difference is going to be the modes and features. So with the X380, it has a high mode, and that's going to be objects mostly at room temperature or below. And then a mid mode, which objects in the view path are going to be greater than 150, and 1000+ mode, which the entire field of vision of the TIC is going to exceed 475 degrees. With that high temperature mode, it's going to be capable of viewing images in excess of 2000 degrees. Whereas in the Eagle Attack TIC, it has two modes. It's a grayscale. Test question.
How many different shades of gray are there, Lenny?
50. Low temp. And then a TAC upper temp, which is colorization. Temperature awareness colorization. The main thing with that is going to be all the X380 scales have the TAC mode, but they're changing throughout the scale. So whether you're in high, mid, or the 1000 mode, the colors are going to change, and you're going to view that in the scale of the color on the side with the temperature rating. Whereas with the Eagle, it's going to be yellow at 200 to 500. It's going to be orange at 501 to 800, and it's going to be red at 801 to 1200, depending on what those objects are. So it's going to be fluctuating throughout that time frame.
Just to add on to what Lenahan was saying about the different modes, the high, medium, and low. It kind of sounds a little bit backwards, but if you think about how the pupil is on your eye, where it gets, when there's a lot of light in the room, it's more constricted, and it needs, when it gets darker in the room, your eye needs more light to get in it, so your pupil dilates. It's kind of the same thing with these TICs. When it gets hot, or when there's a lot more heat in the room, it's gonna dilate and let that light or what it's sensing into the camera, so it's gonna lower that
Range.
the range or the resolution of the camera. So you'll actually see it start switching. You'll see it kind of blip on the screen, and that's actually the camera switching. Or if you think about it, the pupils getting bigger or dilating or constricting.
So with those little blips on the screen, if we're operating the TIC in a fast fashion and we see a blip, we need to run back over that object so that we didn't miss anything in that time frame of that shutter being able to open and close or dilating. All right, guys, here we have the Seek. All right, this is basically a personal escape or a personal awareness TIC. It's located on Engine 1 and Tower 1. We're kind of doing a trial for these, but this is only used for personal escape, so we're not going to be searching for anybody with that. The Eagle Attack, it has the grayscale. We're in grayscale now. It's a 1-touch on, 3-second off. It has the TAC mode, temperature awareness colorization, with the set modes of 200 to 500, 501 to 800, 800 to 1200. And then we have the X380 with 3 buttons. The left button is going to be a hot and cold. It's going to point out the hottest area and the coldest area in the view path, and you'll see that here, and what mode you're in with a blue and a red crosshair. Then you also have on the right hand side, you have a zoom button. It goes up to 4 times zoom. It'll go and in doubles, so it goes by 2. So we're at 2x now, and we're at 4x. We'll show you when we're looking at more of something other than the table. Right now you can see in the view path, that is the ceiling right now because this table is shiny, and we're actually looking at the ceiling light. All right, we're going to go through the temperatures, and we're going to actually look at the stove. We're looking straight up now with a pistol grip, just like you would hold the pistol, and you can start seeing the oven. And then we come up into the fire there, and you'll see the different colors. All right, that's your different modes. So it automatically switches modes into that TAC, and you have to personally relate what temperature those are just by remembering the modes and the colors. But I'm going to show you something different too. Is we call it gangster grip, and just by turning to the side, you pick up more of the view path. So gangster grip is definitely the way to see a room, because you're going to pick up more of the ceiling environment also at the same time. We're about maybe 4 feet away, and the TIC sees everything from a 3 foot to infinity relative. All right, now we're going to go into the other TIC, and I'll show you that one, how that one works. Here's the X380. It's telling us that it's in high sensitivity, or most everything is room temperature currently. And I'm going to try to get it to switch over. Currently we're in the pistol grip mode, but if we did gangster grip, look how much more of the ceiling we cover and how much more of the wall. That was Chief Jones just walked by. And remember those training scars, everything is in a cooler environment, he looked white. But in a house fire, he would look black, and everything else would look white. So let's see if we can pick up on the changeover when the TIC recognizes that everything got a little bit hotter. We're coming up on the oven now. There, did you see it? It blipped over. You saw the screen blip a little bit, and now we're in medium mode. So everything is 150 or above in this view field. Now we start going over. We're going to scan over to the fire, and hopefully we get into a higher heat mode. And there it is. It just flipped over. So that is the biggest thing right there, is you notice how the colors changed. So we see that the colors went from 500 as red to 1220 as red, 1220 all the way up to that 2000 plus. So now you thought you were in a high heat environment, and then boom, it confuses you because the colors changed over. What happened? Did it get cooler, or did it get hotter? It changed neither. It stayed the same. It's still 470, right, in the environment, but the shutter changed, and it's just the changeover with the TIC. And we'll show you gangster grip here. So we rotate, and it changed over there because now it's viewing a different field. Now if I come down and put the crosshairs into a tighter mode, boom, there we go. Now we're seeing more of a smaller field, and it changed over. We'll see what we can do with the zooming. There's a 2x, and there's a 4x. All right, we want to be careful with zoom. because we want to see that big field, or at least have the imager seeing the big field, but we can zoom in for hot spots or overhaul. We also have this lower button, which is the heat mode. All right, so the hottest object right there is, it's saying it's 1000 plus to 1100. All right, we can go to a cold mode, and it's saying the coldest view thing in its field is 50 to 57.
All right, so going over a couple things we can use a TIC for. Thinking outside the box, so we can use a TIC during vehicle accidents. So like a vehicle versus pedestrian or vehicle accident with possible ejection. We can search the area in that kind of environment. You would think that the any kind of body or something you'd probably see looking for some kind of white colored object. If you get to a vehicle accident, you have a car seat, can't find an actual child, you can scan the actual car seat itself, and if there was a warm body in there, you should be able to see on the actual car seat itself. You'll still see some kind of heat there if it was recent.
That's all going to be time sensitive and environmentally sensitive, because if there's rain or anything like that, you're going to cool the surfaces. And remember that we can't see through windows, so we're going to have to actually get the TIC inside the occupant compartment to be able to see if there was heat signatures in those chairs, to look for those ejections or how many occupants we definitely had before that.
All right, so another thing we can use a TIC for is when we're helping out with a size up on a structure fire. You can actually take a TIC with you and do a 360 of the home. It can help you determine where that actual fire is inside the home, looking through eaves and gables and things like that. So we can also use a TIC nighttime for overhead obstructions. So like for the tower crew, for setting up the actual tower itself. When you're scanning, you can actually see the actual power lines themselves. You can also see trees and branches and stuff like that. So some potential problems during operations with the TIC. If for some reason you're in the middle of an operation and the battery just dies, it could be a couple things. If you just get a complete whiteout on the screen, it means that the environment's too hot, so the TIC just automatically shuts off. Another thing can be you could have a thermal overload, which means the electronics on the inside are overheated inside the actual TIC. Kind of think about if your iPhone itself has been in the sun for a long period of time, then it the iPhone itself shuts off or gives you a temperature warning. Kind of the same thing with the actual TIC. It's just gonna automatically shut off. One of the big things we want everyone to get from this is, the number one thing we want you to remember is that the TIC is a tool to help assist with the operations, and you should never replace your actual senses. So just remember that the TIC's it's just a tool.
All right, guys, so a fun little communication skills and search skill training for the TIC would be, we're going to need a trash bag, which is provided by the department, the TIC provided by the department, and then we have some sort of tape. Doesn't have to be duct tape, that just happens to be what we have. We're going to put the trash bag on and poke a little hole and get the iris out for the camera. All right, we'll tape a little bit of tape around it, just so that the trash bag doesn't dislodge itself. And this is going to be a fun little activity to teach communication skills, basic communication skills, because remember, in blackout conditions, the search party or the search group is not necessarily going to have visual. If it's all blacked out, the operator of the TIC will have to explain or direct the searchers with their hands. So if he wants them to go in a different direction, he's going to have to communicate that with them. So just like that, we made a little baggie so that the TIC operator only gets to see through the camera, and then he'll just be blacked out. We're also going to black out our searchers. You can do this with the hood flipped backwards. Be as honest as you can. The harder it is to see, the better this is going to be for the group. And it's a fun little activity just to get people operating and thinking on the same path. And you'd be surprised people's depth perception and communication skills, how lacking they can be. You know, get out there, try it, and see if you guys like it. Just remember that real life, this could be, you know, something that is assisting us in that search. It's not going to replace your senses, but it will definitely keep you both oriented in a sense that, you know, you have contact with your searchers through a visual.